Hello, it's me, Angela. I'm here to talk to you all about books. I haven't done a booktube video on this channel yet, and I thought I might get started because I do enjoy booktube very much, and I plan for this channel to be a part of that community, but also part of the studying community. So if you don't like books, why? All these books are from my local libraries. Some of them are from my school library, which was cleaning out because they were under renovation or whatever. And some of them were from my local library. Those are all 25 cents. You'll see. I'll show you. It'll be fine. The first books I'm going to talk about are the books that are free. So, first book I have is not a very pretty one, but it's Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, which I know nothing about. I do know that it's like supposed to be an essential romance or something. I don't know. Anyway, it's supposed to be it's a classic, right? I think it's a classic. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. The next book that I got from my library, it's the Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver. Anyway, the cover is not the best, but I don't care because I've heard the book is good. Don't judge a book by its cover, am I right? Okay, here is a synopsis. The Poisonwood Bible is a story told by the wife and 4 daughters of Nathan Price, a fierce evangelical Baptist who takes his family and mission to the Belgian Congo in 1959. They carry with them everything they believe they will need from home, but soon find that all of it, from garden seeds to scripture, is calamitously transformed on African soil. What follows is a suspenseful epic of one family's tragic undoing and remarkable reconstruction over the course of 3 decades in post-colonial Africa. So that was all the books that were free. As you can see, their covers weren't pretty, but like, that doesn't matter. It's content over aesthetic, you know, all that. So the next books I'm going to be talking about were 25 cents, which is still super cheap. They're great. I love my library. The first book I'm going to be talking about is another kind of ugly one. It's this. You can't tell what it is. It's David Copperfield. I'm sure you all know what David Copperfield's about. I mean, if you're in the literary community or the booktube community, you should know Charles Dickens, right? Charles Dickens, David Copperfield. I actually don't know anything about it. I just know that it's a classic. Okay. The next book I have is Bel Canto by Anne Patchett. This cover's not terrible, right? It's like pretty much the original cover. Let's read the synopsis of this one, because I think the synopsis is pretty good. Somewhere in South America, at the home of the country's vice president, a lavish birthday party is being held in honor of the powerful businessman, Mr. Hosokawa. Roxanne Koss, opera's most revered soprano, has mesmerized the international guests with her singing. It is a perfect evening until a band of gun-wielding terrorists takes the entire party hostage. What begins as a panicked, life-threatening scenario slowly evolves into something quite different. A moment of great beauty, as terrorists and hostages forge unexpected bonds, and people from different continents become compatriots, intimate friends, and lovers. That sounds good. The next book I have is All the Pretty Horses by Cormac Mccarthy, which also isn't terribly ugly. Wonderful. Cormac Mccarthy, I read The Road by him, which I'm sure most people have, or a lot of people have, and I liked it, but my English teacher in 8th grade kind of spoiled the ending for me, so I probably would have had an emotional reaction, but I didn't. To the ending. If you haven't read it yet, go read it, and don't let me spoil it for you too, because I don't want to do that. All the Pretty Horses is set in 1949, and it's a story about John Grady Cole, which is such an American name. who at the age of 16 finds himself at the losing end of long generations of ranchers. His grandfather has just died. His father, who came back from the war, somehow changed, is living in town, and his mother wants nothing so much as to clear out of West Texas forever. Too young to be given charge of the ranch, John Grady is cut off from the only life he has ever imagined wanting. Over the border into Mexico seems the one way out of a society moving in all the wrong directions, so with his friend Lacey Rawlins, he rides into a land both beautiful and barren, rugged and cruelly civilized. Soon enough, by happenstance, they acquire a hapless younger companion. But this idyllic, sometimes comic adventure leads, in fact, to a place where dreams are paid for in blood. Within months, one of these boys is dead, and the other two aged beyond any normal reckoning. In the end, in seeking a life that in mid-century America no longer exists, John Grady Cole becomes steeped in the sort of wisdom that comes only of belief and loss in excruciating pain. Though Indian bands and horses and cattle are still scattered across the plains, the country itself is bisected by highways and an inevitable future in which all he holds sacred will fade into air. A novel about childhood passing, along with innocence and an American age. This is a grand love story and an education in responsibility and revenge and survival. Magnificent in the variety of its achievement, All the Pretty Horses is indisputably a masterpiece. The next book I have is Memoirs of a Geisha, which also you can't tell by the cover, but there's a spine and it says Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. Wow. A literary sensation and runaway bestseller. This brilliant debut novel? Holy heck. This brilliant debut novel presents with seamless authenticity and exquisite lyricism the true confessions of one of Japan's most celebrated geisha. In Memoirs of a Geisha, we enter a world where appearances are paramount, where a girl's virginity is auctioned to the highest bidder, where women are trained to beguile the most powerful men, and where love is scorned as illusion. It is a unique and triumphant work of fiction, at once romantic, erotic, suspenseful, and completely unforgettable, and also has received high ratings from my friends. This book does sound interesting. As a person of color, I don't know how I feel about this yet. I really should read it, and then I will find out. It'll be cool. Our next book is one that has caused controversy, which is maybe why they're getting rid of it. It's by Harper Lee. Can you guess what it is? It's not To Kill a Mockingbird. It's the sequel, Costel Watchmen. Anyway, Costel Watchmen is the sequel of To Kill a Mockingbird, which I'm sure we all know because of the American schooling system. To Kill a Mockingbird, I had to read in 9th grade, and I actually kind of enjoyed it. I think I gave it 3 stars. I guess it was neither enjoyable nor not enjoyable. It follows like a 13-year-old, I think. I forgot her name. Scout, okay. 13-year-old Scout, she's a girl, and her brother and their father and their father's case. But if you're an American and you haven't read it, did you just not read it in school? The next book I actually read, which is cool. Ha! I'm a booktube channel. I read books. Okay, it's this book, which also you can't tell by the cover of what it is. It's The Storied Life of A.J. Thackeray. This is a book about a bookseller named A.J. Thackeray, and basically his wife dies just before this book starts, and he's kind of grappling with that because his wife was the more popular one. He lives on a semi-isolated island, and his wife was a native there, grew up there, and all the townspeople loved her, but he's been very rude to most of them. He kind of has this pretentious air because he reads so much. But one day, a baby girl dropped off on his door, and he decides to raise it, which is pretty cool. That's so cool. It was a good book. I enjoyed it. I read it. It was one of those books that you just read a lot of, you know? You don't have to force yourself to. Like, I just, every time I went to bed, I just picked it up, and it was just so easy to read. This next book actually has a cover. Amazing. It's Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. It's so gay. I love it. It's great. Also, look at the art. Can we just appreciate that? It's a map, but like it's a pretty map. Ugh. Simon Snow is the worst chosen one who's ever been chosen. That's what his roommate Baz says. And Baz might be evil and a vampire and a complete jit, but he's probably right. Half of the time, Simon can't even make his own wand work, and the other half he sets something on fire. His mentor's avoiding him, his girlfriend broke up with him, and there's a magic-eating monster running around wearing Simon's face. Baz would be having a field day with all of this if he were here. It's their last year at the Watford School of Magics, and Simon's infuriating nemesis didn't even bother to show up. Carry On is a ghost story, a love story, and a mystery. It has just as much kissing and talking as you'd expect from a Rainbow Rowell story, but far, far more monsters. This is another one of those books that I just kept reading. I probably finished it in like a week or so. It was so enjoyable to read. I've never read any other Rainbow Rowell books, but I will definitely be picking up some of her other stuff. The last book I have for all of you lovely people is Fates and Furies, which again has no cover. Fates and Furies I like to compare a lot to La La Land because it's like the same kind of structure basically. So it's a very normal love story, I guess you'd say, but it's just told in this beautiful, beautiful way. Like, La La Land has a beautiful cinematography and filmography, and this book has just gorgeous, gorgeous language. It was so good. Okay, so I got all of those books, all 10 books, for $2 altogether, which is great. I love my local library, I love my school library, even though this doesn't exist right now. It brings me such joy to get such a deal like this, but also just to be around so many books that I know I can just take home if I wanted to. Library books are free, man. They're free. It's great. I love the library. I know it's like redundant, whatever, but yeah, libraries are great. This is a library promo. Go to your local library. Support your local library. They're not gonna go extinct if you don't let them go extinct. Yeah. Thanks for watching. See y'all.